Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. This is another video that I'm completely making without script or anything like that. So it's just for me freely speaking because I just want to, get this stuff out of my heart. Well, basically I want to talk about Donald Trump and Joe Biden today, like how they're, similar, how they're different, and who's overall better and stuff like that. Well, I'm gonna talk about three topics: foreign policy. Um, yeah, actually, well, you'll just see what I'll talk about. Well, anyway, we'll start with foreign policy. Okay, so how is the foreign policy different? Well, the foreign policy, it's actually quite similar if you look at it, more closely. Donald Trump withdrew from Somalia in at the very end of his presidency in like January the 17th of January 2021. And Biden does not want to, come back to, what is it called? To Somalia. Also, both want to withdraw from the what is it called, from Afghanistan. Both want to. And Biden, by the way, just like Trump promised to withdraw from Afghanistan by May 2021. Whether Biden will keep his promise, we'll see. But under Trump, the amount of troops in Afghanistan decreased. Well, what about the rest? Like, what about other wars? Well, as for Libya, both want to withdraw from Libya, and Biden actually opposed, just like Trump, both opposed the 2011 U.S. invasion of Libya, and yeah, so you can definitely see a lot of similarities here. Okay, so what about their other views on foreign policy? Well, there is Iraq and Syria and Yemen. Well, you see, I kind of like to depict Biden as like basically Trump, but like in a way the opposite Trump. To what I mean is that basically their foreign policy it's kind of mostly the same, except for when it comes to three things: Donbass and Yemen and Syria. Well, sorry, Biden is increasing U.S. involvement in Syria and Iraq right now, whereas Trump wanted to withdraw there. So as we can see, Biden has a lot of pluses, and Trump as well. Both support withdrawing from Somalia, which has already happened basically, from Afghanistan, from Libya, and yeah, from other places as well. But they mainly dis they men freak uh, they mainly disagree on Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Basically, Biden he wants to stay there and increase U.S. involvement in Syria and Iraq, whereas Trump wants to withdraw from that. Whereas in Yemen, Trump actually wants to stay there. He wants to I don't think that he wants to increase involvement there, but he definitely wanted to stay there and continue the horrible war there. Whereas Joe Biden wants to withdraw from Yemen. He has already started the withdrawal from Yemen, so that's pretty cool, I guess. This is mainly their only difference in their policy. You could agree that you could argue that they're kind of um equally the same on their foreign policy. You have the same amount of pluses and the same amount of minuses. Well, and it depends how you view it. Is withdrawing from Syria and Iraq more of a plus than withdrawing from Yemen? Well, I don't know. I think no, actually, I think that withdrawing from Yemen. It's hard to say because the thing is, the courts in Iraq, courts is, I mean, Iraq is kind of in this weird situation where you don't know what side they'll be on. Like, uh, I think that they're on the side of Russia and Iran by now, but the thing is that America is still trying to increase its involvement there because of Joe Biden, and the thing is that this might kind of bring Iraq to America's influence, but we don't know. We have to see how this goes. But as for Syria, I think as for Syria or Yemen, well, I mean, in Syria we have the thing is that when America is in Syria, the thing is then that the courts are getting arrogant. Like they don't want like the peace negotiations and stuff like that between the courts, the Syrian courts, the YPG and Assad are being halted. But the thing is that yeah, well, the thing is in Syria that this doesn't really matter right now. What the main focus in Syria right now is Idlib. And Idlib, if you did not know, is fully controlled by Al Nusra, which is basically the Syrian branch of Al Qaeda. That's basically the main focus in Syria. So it doesn't really matter if you have like a ceasefire or not right now between. I mean, reunification or not right now between the YPG and Assad. This can be done later. For now, what's important is Al Nusra, and I guess maybe later, like a bit later, maybe at the end of Joe Biden's presidency, if he survives until that point, will be, the Al Bab and stuff like that. Basically, Turkish controlled territory in Syria. I think that Assad and the YPG could work together even when the US helps the YPG. I think that they could work together to get rid of Turkey and Syria. Well, other than that, Syria, Assad has already won the war. I mean, there is no denial behind this. Like, if you still think that Assad hasn't lost, I mean, hasn't won, then you're delusional. I'm sorry, but yeah. Whereas Yemen is a completely different matter. In Yemen, we don't know who will win, and we must like. Well, I personally support the Houthis, but um, you see, the thing is that if the U.S. withdraws now, but then in Yemen, the Houthis might win. Whereas if they don't withdraw, it's hard to say who will win, but it will definitely not look good for the Houthis if the US still stays there for like the entirety of Joe Biden's presidency, like until 2024, 2025. That's not really good for Houthis. Well, yeah. As other than that, you have Donbass, Malorussia, aka Ukraine. That place is quite interesting if you're thinking about it because Trump actually wanted to withdraw from Malorussia, like he wanted to withdraw from Donbass and stuff like that. Whereas Joe Biden is in, I'm pretty sure you have heard about this in the news. I mean, I have even made a video about that already, like a day ago. But basically, um, Joe Biden is increasing U.S. involvement in, you know, Mall Russia. He wants with Zelensky to invade Crimea and Donbass. He wants to retake it back. Well, yeah. And the thing is, if Trump would withdraw, then it's hard to say if, Zelensky will even make this invasion, and I support his invasion of Donbass and Crimea because he will fail, and then Malorussia will become part of Russia. And this is kind of an end result of Biden's actions, which is a good thing. But yeah, the thing is, you know, it's hard to say if Trump will be still in power and if Zelensky will still launch his invasion. Well, other than that, we you have mainly the things. What is it called? You have all these countries like you know Russia, China, Turkey. All these countries. Basically, Trump increased sanctions on Russia by 11 times, whereas when it comes to China, he launched a trade war with them, and he also killed Soleimani, I think his name is. I don't remember, but yeah, as you know, you have these things with Trump. Yeah, well, I think that Joe Biden, Trump is more friendly towards these countries than Joe Biden. Trump didn't downright call, Putin an autocrat and a killer. He did not call Xi Jinping downright an autocrat and, whatever. He did not call Kim Jong Un a fuck, and he even tried to restore relations with North Korea and Russia, whereas Joe Biden, he's not trying to do that. He's trying to worsen relations with Russia and North Korea. He's not even trying. I mean, the thing is that the Democrats, ever since 2016, think that actually you could already say uh, what time? Since George W. Bush, yeah. Since around George W. Bush, you could think that the Democrats, you could say that the Democrats are basically just demonizing Russia on purpose. Well, yeah. The thing is that, you know, it's more beneficial, you could say, if Trump will be in power for these countries. North Korea doesn't even recognize doesn't even recognize Joe Biden as the president of the United States. So I think that this is hilarious and pretty cool. Well, yeah. So North Korea. Well, I think that it's actually kind of good. Yeah, I think it's good how Joe Biden has been adopting a more aggressive attitude towards countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. I think that's great because he has insulted all of these four countries, and you know why that's great? Because this is unifying these countries. Have you seen what they are doing? They are right now creating a blog that which consists of Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, um, what else? Mexico, India, Brazil, Turkey, and even slowly the EU, you could argue. It's a large a bloc, and a large anti-US bloc is being formed, which is greatly weakening US imperialism. And I think that this is great. This is a pretty good part of Joe Biden's foreign policy, I think. Um, you have to always look at, from a positive point of view at politics. You can't just look at everything negatively. I think that this is all pretty great. Well, yeah, I think that this is we can use imperialism. Well, other than that, what can we talk about in terms of foreign policy at least? Well, you have these coups in um, Latin America. Donald Trump back in 2018 made a deal with. I actually remember this extremely well. I was actually looking like I've been watching Latin American politics. I've been watching them very closely ever since the 2018 Brazilian election. I've been following all this ever since even before Bolsonaro won and all that. I was pretty shocked when Bolsonaro won. I think this is a shock to everyone. So it's all a surprise. Well, yeah. What else? Uh, yeah. So this is pretty great. Well, I mean, no. I meant to say that the coups are. Very bad. Well, I'm not sure if they will continue Joe Biden. The thing is that Bolsonaro does not like Joe Biden, so, and he's forming a bloc with the countries that with the countries that I named before, like Russia, China, and all of that. He's forming an anti-U.S. bloc with them. So I'm not sure if the coups of Nicaragua and Cuba that Donald Trump and Bolsonaro agreed on back in 2018 will still happen under Joe Biden's rule. So this is debatable. Yeah, well, what else can we talk about? Yeah, I think that this is it for the foreign policy. Well, what about economic policy? In terms of economic policy, Joe Biden is it's complicated. What even is Joe Biden? You call it's he kind of became a social democrat. You could argue. But like, I think that he's like, Harry S. Truman, Lyndon B. Johnson, Bill Clinton, you know, all these, AKA people, I mean, people who AKA want, Medicare for all and all that. I don't think that, Joe Biden will bring something which has been promised for over a century since Theodore Roosevelt already. I don't think that he will bring all this healthcare stuff, all this free stuff, all this social democratic stuff. It won't happen. It won't happen. I think that he'll just preserve the Obamian status quo when it comes to economics. Yeah, so this is what Joe Biden will do in terms of economics. Well, it depends what you can call Trump. I mean, I think that he was pretty much economically the same as Obama, basically, pretty much. I don't really see a difference. I mean, you see, Trump criticized Obamacare, but he did not really try to abolish it. He tried to, make it better. Not abolish it. He still wanted Medicare for all. He just wanted to strengthen it. Well, there is also NAFTA. Well, yeah, this is part of foreign policy, but I still want to mention that. Well, Trump wanted to leave NATO and NAFTA, whereas Joe Biden wants to stay there. So yeah, this is pretty bad. Well, now let's talk about social policy. Like, for example, let's talk about animal welfare first because this is the issue that's pissing me off the most. Um, well, if you did not know, Joe Biden is hurting fish. Okay, he's destroying dams, if I'm not mistaken, and stuff like that. I'd have to check. Well, I think that I might remember it. If Oh, okay, I remember now. He's Joe Biden is going to pull, windmills, in New York with magnets, and that will pretty much make fish roots destroyed, which will, in turn kill a lot of fish. And I don't think that this is great. I don't think that this is great. Um, yeah. Well, you know, Trump didn't have very pretty pro animal welfare policy either, but I think that Joe Biden is just making everything worse now with all this. This is seriously not cool, okay? What about COVID? COVID, okay, this is pretty cool, pretty good topic. Well, Trump literally he claimed to not deny masks. Like I watched an interview he had like where Mike Pence just dropped at the end. That was pretty funny. Yeah, as for the interview itself, I mean, as for the COVID itself, well, Joe Biden is certainly like not telling people not to wear masks. John the Joe, Rick, I'm sorry. Joe Biden tells people to wear masks, whereas Trump kind of didn't. Yeah, you can't see like rallies of Trump where thousands of people did not wear masks. Yeah, I think that Joe Biden is kind of handling no. Actually, if you read articles about America today, like after Donald Trump, you'll see that Joe Biden is actually just exaggerating the fall of the U.S. You think that Donald Trump handled COVID badly, that he was making that he was hurting the economy badly. Well, we have to look at Joe Biden. He's making everything worse. So this is another reason to support Joe Biden, I guess. Um, I don't like Joe Biden. Donald Trump was way better. The thing is, Joe Biden is not president. We can't do anything about it. But as long as he's as long as he's incompetent, like remember how he fell from the stairs while trying to go to an airplane, and he actually almost fell again later, like 3 weeks later. Also, he fell 3 times in a row. That was hilarious. He also once accidentally called Vice President Kamala Harris, President Harris in his speech. Like Joe Biden, like I don't know what this guy, I don't know what this boy is trying to do, but this is not really healthy, man. Like this is not smart. Well, like he's stupid. He's an idiot and too old to rule. And also he like why did he even call all these leaders fox killers and autocrats? Why is his intention with that? What is he trying to achieve? All this is doing is just hurting the U.S. It's going to weaken it. What is he doing? But whatever he's doing, this is great because it's weakening the U.S. and I support that because whatever weakens the U.S. will be supported by me. Okay. Anyway, well, yeah. If you look at yeah. Anyway, also Donald Trump, by the way, is kind of a healthy president. He was pretty healthy compared to Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He did not fall from stairs. He did not call other leaders fox. Autocrats, killers. The only thing like that he did was calling North Korea's Kim Jong Un a rocket man. That's pretty much the only thing that did. But even North Korea has a pretty soft spot for Donald Trump. Yeah. Anyway. What about Okay. So I wanted to say that Joe Biden is pretty much bringing the U.S. to 473. You know. Rome and 1991 Gorbachevite USSR. Like this is how bad the US right now is, according to a lot of academians. So the US is pretty much dying, and they fucking love that. That's amazing. Um, yeah. Well, yeah. What else can we talk about? Well, I obviously don't like Joe Biden's social views for obvious reasons. I don't like that. He's a liberal, social liberal. He's some kind of radical liberal, radical centrist liberal. I don't like that. I think that Donald Trump's social views were better. You just look at all these bills that states. Just look at the bill that was passed not long ago. It's not really going well in the U.S. Like what like with sports and medical coverage for a certain group of people, if you can even call them people. I don't think that they are people because they aren't. Anyway, it's yeah. Um, well, there is also what else can we talk about? Yeah. One more thing about the foreign policy of them. They both this is actually complicated. Like there is a North Korean YouTuber that I'm in contact with, she once sent me a link about how like Joe Biden was bombing Iraq. Well, yeah, it's true that Joe Biden, supported the invasion of Iraq back in 2003 and even in 2004, but later in 2005 he became like he started opposing the invasion of Iraq, and I think that ever since then he has gotten pretty much far more anti-war, and I believe that all the you know presidents in the U.S. Biden is currently the second best since 1977. Donald Trump was obviously better. Yeah, this is pretty. Yeah, I pretty much gave the answer already. Donald Trump is better than Joe Biden, but Joe Biden isn't like as bad as Barack Obama, for example, George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, um, you know, Bill Clinton, George H. W. Bush. He's definitely not as bad as them, but he's still not really good. I mean, this is the United States. What will we get out of the United States? Not much, don't you think so? Um, yeah, well, what else can we talk about? Um, yeah, also Joe Biden is an environmentalist, and he does not deny climate change. Whereas Donald Trump does that. Well, and I'm not sure. Okay, I won't say anything on this, but okay, actually, yeah, Donald Trump is better on animal welfare. He's way better on animal welfare. Um, Obviously, you cannot really have 100% animal welfare or 100% environmentalism under capitalism, but you can not try to make the environment worse at the very least than it already is. Not make the lives of animals, such as of fish, worse than they already are. Like you can, for example, Google how much fish is being fished every year. 1.7 billion or so, maybe 1.3 billion. I don't remember the exact number. It's either one of them. Capitalism is a very bad system. It's a very bad consequence in history, but at the same time, it develops the productive forces, and we can never forget that. Still, we should try to have environmentalism and especially animal welfare. Yeah. Anyway, guys, this has been quite a long rant. 28 minutes. Yeah, well, I don't really have a script or anything. I was just speaking like freely out of my heart. I just had to talk about this, and yeah, goodbye, guys. Also, one more thing, if you don't want fish to become extinct by 2048, which will happen if we keep fishing at this rate, then just don't fish or and yeah, and don't eat fish. Like, do it for the fish. Don't eat them. Don't kill them. And fish will survive. I mean, the mo they're pretty much forgotten. The emphasis is pretty much on farm animals mostly. Like, I feel very sad for them. How they're just forgotten. Yeah, well, um, but don't worry. Soon we'll have cultured meat. But for now, don't eat fish. Do not eat fish, man. Um, they're very intelligent beings. Even many studies show that. Like there, you can read an article by the BBC on that. Yeah, well, this is it, I think, for today's video. Also, yeah, farm animals do way better than fish. This is very sad. So yeah, please don't kill them. Don't eat them. Yeah, goodbye.